What's up, B Squad? It is your boy JB, and we are here today with a review for Sistas on BET Season 5, Episode 4. This episode was titled The Letter. So before we just go ahead and just get into this review, you guys, if you guys are watching this video or any other video on the channel and you guys aren't subscribed, do me a solid favor and subscribe to the channel. Stop taking me out in this date and having me pay for it. You can do that by thumbsing up the video, sharing the video, subscribing to the channel, and turning on your post notifications, you guys. And with that out of the way, without further ado, let's discuss Sistas, shall we? So you guys, this episode we pick up where we left off with Zach and Fatima at the gym, and Fatima was upset because Zach had called her Karen's name. Now I get it, being upset about being called somebody else's name. I'm not gonna sit here and be like, oh my god, Fatima's doing too much. No, I was on Fatima's side, and you guys know I said it I think last week or the week before. You guys know I love me some Fatima, right? I think that, and I've said it and I'm gonna keep saying it, my issue when it comes down to Fatima is the fact that Fatima is, for me, she's a negative stereotype of black women. I hate to say it, but she's a negative stereotype of black women in certain ways. It's cool to have a girlfriend that's a ride or die, that'll be by your side, that's down for whatever, right? And but the thing with Tyler Perry and Fatima's character is she's always angry, she's always upset, she's always ready to fight. She's just so goddamn volatile. And I think that's my only issue when it comes to Fatima, is just how volatile she is, right? It gives the stereotype of the aggressive black woman, and that's just, I don't like that, right? So once Fatima left, Deja and her homegirls came up and she was introducing them to Zach. I'm like, why? And we're gonna bring up Deja and her homegirls in just a few minutes, because we finally figured it out that Zatima and Sistas are in the same universe, I believe. Because I want to ask you guys a question, because I know you guys can tell me better than I can answer this question, because I haven't finished Zatima, unfortunately. So Deja says to Zach she's gonna be late with the rent, and I can pay a different way, talking about with her having sex with him. I was like, girl, why? So then we see Q. So Q is escorting his lady friend out of the house, right? He put his shoes on the dining room table and Calvin knocked that shit on the floor, right? So Q comes over, sits down with Calvin, and Calvin's like, how could you do that to Maurice? I do what to Maurice? Like, don't play us. You know what you did to Maurice. But unfortunately, Q just doesn't give it in, right? So Q is getting ready to go look for a job, and he tells Maurice, you can't do nothing because your name ain't on the lease either. Okay, so his name's not on the lease, but neither is yours. So technically, you both are technically, Maurice agreed to let Calvin stay there. You were there as a technicality, but you know what? Neither here nor there, right? Neither here nor there. So Q tells Calvin he's getting ready to go he's going for a job, right? So once Q walked out the apartment, Calvin has somebody in his room that's gonna change the locks. I was like, hey man, Calvin, change them motherfucking locks, nigga. Change them. But here's the thing that threw me when Q walked out of the apartment, right? So Q was talking about he gonna be back later, but I'm like, you didn't leave with a key in your hand, so how are you gonna get back in the apartment? How did Q, you know what? That is a good question though. How did Q get in the apartment? I guess Q must be good at picking locks and whatnot. But Calvin told oh boy, like, when you change that lock, make sure that there's a deadbolt as well. I was like, that's the best way to do it. Have a deadbolt on that bitch, so that way when he comes back, he can't get in. So have a deadbolt, have it deadbolt. Or at least have one, like, that is a deadbolt, right? Where you can have a chain. Cause we used to have one of those at the house of my mom and I used to live in. We had one of those, one that you have the chain. Like, who is it? Can't get in because we got. Oh, I'd be like, damn, forgot chain. But yeah, let's pause here and let's move forward. So next up, you guys, we got Deja in the locker room with her homegirls. They still laughing about her thinking about sleeping with Zach. So Fatima comes up and like, who are you talking about? Oh, girl, I'm just talking about this dude that I like. And they had a back and forth with each other, right? So at one point, Deja told Fatima, like, I wasn't even talking to you. So Fatima was like, "Girl, do I need to beat your ass again like I did the last time?" And her brother's like, "What is she talking about?" Yeah, ask about when she was in my in my backyard in my jacuzzi. Now you guys, correct me if I'm wrong. That scene happened in Zatima, right? So that would imply that what these timelines are the exact same show. I was when y'all told me that, and I saw that video that Duvall, the live that Duvall did with Crystal Renee, and he said that don't think too hard unto Sisters and Zatima because they're in different universes. I'm like, how? It's like because y'all are both on the same. Now, think of it's just I don't understand Zatima. I don't only thing about it because obviously at this point, if Deja got beat up in Fatima's um in the backyard of Zach's house or wherever she got beat up at, that means that these are the same. These are in fact the same timeline. It just probably means that Zatima is just maybe a few days or a few weeks ahead of Sisters, right? That's all that it means. But then that brings up the other question of what was his name? Jake and oh boy, what is his name? Bryce. Jake and Bryce. Those are the same exact characters. So that's the only thing. And I know people were like, they will. I know somebody left in the comments, or somebody probably DM me. I can't remember which one it was. It was a DM or a comment, right? But we were talking about the episode with Jake. That they felt like the guy who plays, not Jake, but Bryce, the guy who plays Jake, probably didn't want to do that scene, do that scene where, well, hell, if you guys saw the team, you guys know that Bryce felt Zach because he has a crush on Zach. The same thing that we've been saying about Jake for how long have we been saying that about Jake, that we thought Jake was gay? Tyler could still write that into the script, sir. So if that's the case, he could still write that into the script. Just letting you know that right now. But hey, neither here nor there, right? So here we go with aggressive Fatima. So Deja got her arm in the locker, right? So Fatima comes up and just slamming her arm, slamming that damn thing on her arm. I'm like, oh my god, Fatima, why? So Zach ended up having to go into the dressing room, the ladies' dressing room, and break up the fight. I was like, oh my god, why does she have to be so aggressive? So Pam, she went over to Karen's house, right? So Lisa opens the door and she's like, Pam, what's going on? Is everything okay? Pam says, yes, everything is okay. I know how to keep them bitches in line. She called us up before she said bitches, right? But I just want to come and check on Karen and make sure that Karen is good. So Lisa tells her she's good. She's on bed rest. And Pam says, well, can I see her? So she says, don't stress her out, Pam. So Pam went in the room where Karen is and she asked Karen, like, how are you? She says she's on bed rest. She's bored, right? And she said, what you doing? She says she's writing a letter. She says, to who? But then Karen asks her, Pam, was it you that told Aaron about me being in the hospital? No, I ain't tell Aaron nothing. Which I kind of found it hard to believe that Pam didn't tell her. But wait a minute, no, how could Pam tell him when Pam was at the hospital with her? So no, Pam did not tell him at all. But she was like, damn. Because she's thinking that like you called Fatima a bitch for no damn reason, right? Because then Pam was like, well, didn't you say he had a doctor friend that works at the hospital? I was like, Karen, how dumb can you be? That was the easiest giveaway. Like, I knew that right away who told Aaron that you were at the hospital. It wasn't Pam, it wasn't Zach, it wasn't Fatima. It was the doctor. I mean, come on, girl. You just went to the hospital a few hours before and met the woman, and she's the one that told you were pregnant. But you know what, Karen, you know what? I'm gonna leave Karen alone I'm gonna leave Karen alone. I'm gonna leave Karen be. Let's pause here and let's move forward. So we see Lisa. I'm sorry, y'all, but Lisa, girl, did you go to a sperm bank and get pregnant by Karen? Get pregnant with Karen? Because Lisa just gives me lesbian. And I'm so glad that you guys said it last week to me in the comment section that it wasn't just me that is confused as hell how Karen has that terrible country accent. God, that accent is horrible. That is the worst country accent I've ever heard in my life. Yeah, I'm from Texas. I have an accent. I think I have. People tell me I got an accent. I don't hear it, but I I know we in Texas we got a little southern drawl, but God, we don't talk. Even in Georgia, people don't talk like Karen talk. What kind of that sounds like Kentucky a little bit, but hey, her mama ain't got no accent. I'm still kind of confused how your mama ain't got no accent. Did your mama adopt you? Did your mama go to a sperm bank? Because again, that mama gives me lesbian. Just keeping it real. She gives me a lesbian. So Lisa called Aaron. She called him an accountant. I'm like, ma'am, he's a preacher. But he was at our office in a suit. I'm like, so you do have a day job. Okay, so you never go to, never mind. Let's leave Aaron alone. So she tells Aaron to come over to the house at 8 o'clock. He says, cool. She says, I've invited Zach. He says, do you think that's a good idea? Because he stresses her out. I was like, excuse me? Zach stresses her out? So do you. Zach ain't even been in the picture like that. Zach is over there with Fatima, minding his love-minded business. Your ass is the one that keep popping up like wildflowers. But okay. So then she calls Zach. So she tells Zach that she wants him to come over at 8 o'clock, right? So he says, I got to ask my girl. She says, oh, what's her phone number? He said, no. Nope, you don't need that. So she then says, well, bring her as well. He was like, I don't know if that's a good idea. I don't know if that's a good idea either, Miss Lisa. Unless you're ready to, unless you about to nook if you buck. Nook if you buck. Buy nook if you buck. If that's what you about to do, then cool. But if that ain't what you about to do, let's leave her at home. Please and thank you. So next up, Andy, she got to work, right? So Danny called Andy up and told Danny that, not Danny, Danny called Andy to tell Andy that Calvin told her he got $20,000 on Sabrina's bail. And Andy was like, we don't even know if she's granted bail yet. And she says, hey, you talked to your boss yet? She says, he's here, but he's in his office and his door is open. So he's in a meeting with the partners, right? So Danny's like, go talk to him. She's like, when he gets out of his meeting, I will go talk to him, Danny. So they got off the phone, right? So then we're at the airport with Danny. So her boss comes up and guess who is working at the airport now? You guessed it, Q. So he has Zach's old job. So, he's trying to have a little conversation with Danny, and Danny is paying him dust. Girl, once you find out what he's done to your best friend Sabrina, you're going to be ready to whoop his ass. So then, I guess a plane had just landed, right? So the guy, remember in the previous 2 episodes, the guy that his ex was rude to Danny? Well, he's back. He says his son is fine. And he asked Danny out to dinner. I was like, okay, Tyler. Okay, I mean, I'm cool with Danny getting some loving, but God, these dudes are just annoying to me because they don't take no for an answer. But hey, that ain't got nothing to do with nothing. Let's pause here and let's move forward, you guys. All right, you guys. So after Danny got off the, not Danny, but after Andy got off the phone with Danny, she went to Fatima's office. Fatima's in her office meditating, trying to center herself. And Andy was like, what are you doing? She says, I'm trying to center myself. She's like, why? Because of your girl Karen. She called me last night. She called me all kind of bitches. So she also told her about Zach calling, her Karen's name and how she still thinks that Zach is still in love with Karen. And, Andy was like, I don't think he's still in love with her. He's head over heels for you. And Karen is a thing of the past. And you have to also remember, they were together for 3 years. Okay, cool. I don't care. So then we see Karen. So Karen called Andy to, and she told her, that she went to the hospital. She's spotted, but she's fine. She's on bed rest. And, Andy was like, okay, well, I'll come over and see you. She's like, nope, my mama's here. And she ain't letting nobody in. She's like, that sounds like Lisa. So then Karen says, well, tell me what's going on with you. Oh, nothing. It's pretty boring over here. Not telling her about Sabrina. So after they hang up the phone, she calls Danny and she tells Danny, like, don't call Karen. She's like, what are you talking about? She's like, well, Karen went to the hospital. She's on bed rest. So what you're saying is call Karen, check on Karen, but don't mention Sabrina. Yeah, that's what she's saying. Danny and I even agreed on that one. Danny and I agreed on this situation. Girl, why didn't you just say that from the jump? Like, Karen is fine. I talked to Karen. Karen went to the hospital. Karen's on bed rest. She can't be stressed out. So you call Karen and check on Karen, but be sure not to mention anything about Sabrina. Okay, I guess. Um, so then Lisa came back into the room where Karen was, right? She's fixed Karen some lunch, and Karen's telling Lisa how she's going crazy in that room. Girl, it's only been a day. Not even a day, it's been a few hours. But okay. Karen's going crazy, right? So Lisa tells Karen, like, I heard you on the phone, right? And Karen's like, yeah, I was talking to Andy. She wants to come over. And Lisa's like, she can come over tomorrow. But then she tells Karen about her inviting Zach over, Aaron over, and Fatima. She's like, you invited Fatima? I don't want that woman in my house. But then Karen had to come to her and say, well, she's a cool chick. But she told her mom that she called her a bitch for no damn reason. So she know that Fatima about ready to, snatch that raggedy ass wig off her head and ready to throw down with Karen. But you guys, let's pause here and end the episode. All right, you guys. So Fatima's still at work, and Zach calls her. He wants to see her, talk to her. He tells her she's at the office, so she obliges him, right? So they go off and talk, and he tells her, like, Fatima, he apologizes to her, and he says that it's only you. Like, I want you. I don't want Karen. But he does tell her that, Lisa, Karen's mom, invited him and Aaron over to the house, and he wants to know, if she's cool with it. She says, cool. He says, but she also wants you to come as well. She's like, Zach, if I go over there, I'm going to be ready to fight. He says, I know. He says, but if Karen's going to listen to anybody, it's going to be her mother. So as they walking out, who comes out? Who meets them? Punk ass Hayden, right? So Hayden's like, I got a restraining order against you. And they were like, you might want to go double check on that one. So Hayden went to Andy's office, right? Messing with Andy. And Andy's like, yeah, you can't get a did you not reach your contract? You can't get a restraining order against one of our clients. He's like, he's not a client of ours. She says he is. He's my client. I mean, did he forget that she's the one that helped get him out of jail? So yeah, he is her client, which I don't know how he's her client because she's a divorce attorney. Tyler, how was Andy his attorney? That's the one thing I've been confused about. Anytime somebody has any kind of legal issues, they go to Andy, but Andy is a divorce attorney, right? So Hayden is fucking with Andy because Robin's door is open, right? So Hayden is like, yeah, I'm gonna get you back. She's like, what are you talking about? So come to find out, Fatima came in the office and she told him to get out. Come to find out, Gary is in the office with Robin. And I'm like, so what is that gonna do? How is that gonna hurt Andy? Hayden is a little bitch boy. That's all he is, a little bitch boy. But that's the episode, you guys. Let me know what you guys thought about this. It was actually a good episode. I enjoyed this episode, you guys. I couldn't find anything wrong with this episode. It was okay. I have to say that. I have to say that this was a good episode of Sistas for me. Let me know if you guys thought it was a good episode. Subscribe to the channel, turn on your post notifications, share the video, thumbs up the video, and I'll catch you guys in the next one, you guys. Stay safe, take care of yourselves, wash your hands, you guys. Socially distance, be blessed, and I'll see you guys later.